In the heart of a bustling city, where the cacophony of life masked the whispers of secrets, lived a woman named Evelyn Moore. Her striking beauty and enigmatic aura captivated everyone who crossed her path. Evelyn's life, however, was far from the glamorous facade she projected. Beneath her composed exterior lay a tumultuous past and an insatiable yearning for love and acceptance that had driven her into the deepest abyss of despair. Evelyn's story began in a quaint, picturesque village where she was born. Her childhood was filled with the warmth of familial love, the joy of simple pleasures, and the dreams of a bright future. But tragedy struck when Evelyn's parents died in a car accident, leaving her orphaned at the tender age of 12. Shipped off to live with a distant aunt in the city, Evelyn found herself in a world vastly different from the one she had known. Her aunt, a cold and distant woman, saw Evelyn as nothing more than an unwelcome burden. The once vibrant girl retreated into herself, her loneliness and longing for affection growing with each passing day. It was during her teenage years that Evelyn discovered the power of her beauty. It became a weapon, a means to gain the attention and affection she so desperately craved. Men were drawn to her like moths to a flame, and Evelyn, in turn, basked in their adoration. But the fleeting moments of pleasure could not fill the void in her heart. One day, Evelyn met Daniel, a charming and successful businessman who seemed to offer everything she had ever wanted. Their whirlwind romance was like a fairy tale, and for a brief moment, Evelyn believed she had found her happily ever after. But Daniel's love came at a price. He was controlling, possessive, and prone to violent outbursts. Evelyn found herself trapped in a gilded cage, her every move monitored and dictated by Daniel's whims. Despite the abuse, Evelyn clung to the hope that she could change him, that their love could conquer all. But reality shattered her illusions when she discovered that Daniel was having an affair. The betrayal was too much for Evelyn to bear. In a fit of rage and despair, she confronted Daniel, and their argument quickly escalated into a physical altercation. In the heat of the moment, Evelyn grabbed a knife and, in a desperate act of self-defense, plunged it into Daniel's chest. Blood soaked through his crisp white shirt as he fell to the floor, his eyes wide with shock and disbelief. Evelyn stood frozen, the knife slipping from her trembling hand. The reality of what she had done slowly sank in, and she was overwhelmed by a wave of nausea and horror. Panic set in as she realized the gravity of her actions. She fled the scene, leaving behind the man who had promised her the world, but delivered only pain and suffering. For weeks, Evelyn lived like a fugitive, constantly looking over her shoulder, haunted by the ghost of Daniel and the crime she had committed. She moved from one seedy motel to another, changing her appearance and identity to avoid capture. The once glamorous woman was now a shadow of her former self, her beauty marred by the weight of her guilt and fear. In her darkest moments, Evelyn found solace in the arms of strangers. She sought refuge in fleeting encounters, using her body as a means to forget, if only for a little while, the nightmare her life had become. But no amount of physical pleasure could erase the torment of her soul. One fateful night, Evelyn met Alex, a kind-hearted artist who saw beyond her facade. He was drawn to her vulnerability and offered her a chance at redemption. For the first time in years, Evelyn felt a glimmer of hope. She confided in Alex, sharing the darkest parts of her past and the crime that haunted her every waking moment. Alex listened without judgment, his compassion and understanding a balm to her wounded heart. He encouraged Evelyn to turn herself in, to face the consequences of her actions, and start anew. It was a terrifying prospect, but Evelyn knew that she could not run forever. With Alex's support, she walked into a police station and confessed to Daniel's murder. The trial was a media spectacle, and Evelyn's life was laid bare for all to see. The jury deliberated for days, and the tension was palpable as the verdict was read. Guilty. Evelyn was sentenced to 20 years in prison, a fate she accepted with a mixture of relief and resignation. Behind bars, Evelyn found a strange sense of peace. She spent her days reflecting on her past and working on her rehabilitation. She attended therapy sessions, participated in prison programs, and gradually began to rebuild her shattered sense of self. Letters from Alex, filled with words of encouragement and love, sustained her through the darkest days. Years passed, and Evelyn emerged from prison a changed woman. The world outside had moved on, but Evelyn was determined to start anew. She reconnected with Alex, who had waited patiently for her release. Together, they built a life grounded in honesty and mutual respect. Evelyn found work at a women's shelter, using her experiences to help others who had faced similar struggles. Her past would always be a part of her, but she had learned to embrace it as a testament to her resilience and strength. However, tragedy struck once more when Alex was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Evelyn stood by his side, caring for him with the same unwavering devotion he had shown her. Their love, forged in the crucible of hardship, was a beacon of hope in their final days together. As Alex took his last breath, Evelyn was overcome with grief, but also gratitude for the love they had shared. Alone again, Evelyn continued her work at the shelter, finding purpose in helping others heal. She knew that her life had been marked by tragedy and loss, but it had also been a journey of redemption and transformation. Evelyn's story was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. Her name became a symbol of hope for those who had lost their way, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn would always come. Years rolled by, each one leaving its mark on Evelyn's life like a sculptor chiseling away at stone, revealing the true essence of its subject. She found solace in the routine of her work, the quiet strength of the women she helped, and the unwavering memory of Alex, whose love had transformed her from a prisoner of her past into a beacon of hope. Yet despite the peace she had found, shadows of her past would occasionally creep into her thoughts, bringing with them a deep, unsettling sadness. It was during one of these introspective moments that Evelyn received a letter. The handwriting was unfamiliar, but the words within carried a sense of urgency and a plea for help that she couldn't ignore. The letter was from a young woman named Lila, who had been following Evelyn's story from the media coverage of her trial to her work at the shelter. Lila's life had eerily paralleled Evelyn's own. An abusive relationship, a desperate escape, and a crime committed in self-defense. Lila had nowhere else to turn, and Evelyn's story had given her a sliver of hope. Determined to help, Evelyn arranged to meet Lila. When they finally met, Evelyn saw a reflection of her younger self in the frightened but resolute eyes of the young woman before her. Lila's tale was heart-wrenching, and as she spoke, Evelyn's resolve to assist her solidified. She took Lila under her wing, guiding her through the legal process, offering emotional support, and providing a safe haven at the shelter. As they worked together, Evelyn found herself revisiting the painful chapters of her past, but this time, she saw them through the lens of someone who had not only survived, but had emerged stronger. Lila's presence was both a reminder of her own journey and a testament to the impact she could have on others. Evelyn's work with Lila became a catalyst for change at the shelter. She started new programs aimed at helping women who had been through similar experiences, providing them with the tools and support they needed to rebuild their lives. The shelter flourished under her leadership, becoming a sanctuary for those in need, a place where stories of pain transformed into narratives of resilience and hope. However, the world has a way of testing even the strongest among us. One fateful evening, as Evelyn was returning home from the shelter, she was attacked. The assailant was a man seeking revenge for Daniel, believing Evelyn had escaped justice. The confrontation was brutal, and Evelyn, though fighting valiantly, was left gravely injured. She was found by a passerby and rushed to the hospital, teetering on the edge of life and death. In the sterile, beeping confines of the ICU, Evelyn's mind drifted through the corridors of her life. She thought of her parents, of Daniel, of Alex, and of all the women she had helped. Each memory was a thread in the intricate tapestry of her existence, woven together by the common themes of love, loss, and redemption. Days turned into weeks, and Evelyn's recovery was slow but steady. The attack had left her physically weakened, but her spirit remained unbroken. Her time in the hospital became a period of deep reflection, and she emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. She realized that her work was far from over, and her experiences, though painful, had equipped her with a unique perspective and an unwavering determination to continue helping others. As soon as she was able, Evelyn returned to the shelter. Her presence was greeted with an outpouring of love and support from the women whose lives she had touched. Lila, in particular, stood by her side, having blossomed under Evelyn's mentorship. Together, they expanded the shelter's reach, creating a network of support for women across the city. They established partnerships with legal aid organizations, mental health services, and vocational training programs, ensuring that the women who came to them had access to all the resources they needed to build new lives. Evelyn's story began to spread beyond the city, inspiring others to join the cause. Donations poured in, allowing the shelter to grow and help even more women in need. Evelyn became a sought-after speaker, sharing her journey of survival and transformation at conferences and events. She used these platforms to advocate for systemic changes to protect and support survivors of domestic violence and abuse. Despite the acclaim and recognition, Evelyn remained grounded. She continued to work directly with the women at the shelter, never forgetting the personal connections that had driven her mission. Each success story was a reminder of the power of compassion and the impact of a helping hand extended in times of need. As the years passed, Evelyn's health began to decline. The injuries from the attack had taken a toll on her body, and she found herself spending more time reflecting on her life's work. She was comforted by the knowledge that she had made a difference, that her pain had been transformed into a force for good. Surrounded by friends and the women whose lives she had changed, Evelyn faced her final days with grace and dignity. Lila, now a strong and confident advocate in her own right, was by her side, offering the same unwavering support Evelyn had once given her. On a serene autumn morning, as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the window, Evelyn took her last breath. Her passing was mourned by many, but her legacy lived on in the hearts and lives of those she had touched. The shelter was renamed in her honour, a lasting tribute to her tireless efforts and indomitable spirit. Evelyn Moore's life was a testament to the power of resilience, the strength of the human spirit, and the transformative power of love and compassion. Her story, marked by tragedy and triumph, continued to inspire long after she was gone, a shining beacon of hope for all who faced the darkest moments of their lives. In the years that followed Evelyn's passing, her legacy continued to grow, becoming an enduring source of inspiration for countless individuals around the world. The shelter she had founded flourished, expanding its reach and impact far beyond what anyone could have imagined. Lila, now the director, carried Evelyn's vision forward with unwavering dedication and a deep sense of purpose. Under Lila's leadership, the shelter developed innovative programs that addressed not only the immediate needs of survivors, but also the underlying societal issues that contributed to their plight. They launched educational initiatives to raise awareness about domestic violence, partnered with schools and community organisations to provide preventative services, and worked tirelessly to advocate for legislative changes that would offer greater protection and support for survivors. The impact of these efforts was profound. Reports of domestic violence decreased as communities became more educated and proactive in addressing the issue. Women who had once felt isolated and powerless now had a strong support network to rely on. The shelter became a model for similar organisations worldwide, with leaders from different countries visiting to learn from its successes and replicate its programs. Lila's dedication to the cause was recognised on numerous occasions. She received awards and accolades, but she always attributed her success to the foundation laid by Evelyn. In every speech she gave, in every interview she conducted, she spoke of Evelyn's strength, resilience, and the transformative power of love and compassion. Meanwhile, the personal stories of the women who had found refuge at the shelter continued to unfold. One such woman was Maria, who arrived at the shelter with her young daughter after escaping an abusive marriage. Maria was initially withdrawn and fearful, but with the support and resources provided by the shelter, she began to rebuild her life. She enrolled in vocational training programs, found a stable job, and eventually started her own small business. Maria's story of transformation was a testament to the shelter's impact and the enduring power of Evelyn's legacy. Another woman, Aisha, came to the shelter after suffering years of psychological abuse. The support she received allowed her to regain her sense of self-worth and confidence. Aisha went on to become a counsellor at the shelter, using her own experiences to help others navigate their paths to healing. Her compassionate approach and deep empathy made her an invaluable member of the team. As the shelter grew, so did the network of individuals and organisations committed to the cause. Evelyn's story continued to be a powerful rallying cry for change. Documentaries were made, books were written, and her life was even adapted into a feature film. Each retelling of her story emphasised the themes of resilience, redemption, and the enduring impact of one woman's unwavering commitment to helping others. Evelyn's influence extended beyond the shelter. Schools incorporated her story into their curriculums, teaching students about the importance of empathy, resilience, and standing up against injustice. Community leaders and policymakers cited her work as a catalyst for broader social changes, including improved protections for survivors of domestic violence and increased funding for support services. One day, a young woman named Emily walked into the shelter. She had been deeply moved by Evelyn's story and was determined to contribute in any way she could. Emily's passion and enthusiasm were infectious, and she quickly became an integral part of the team. Her background in social work and her innovative ideas brought new energy to the shelter. Emily proposed the creation of an outreach program that would provide support to women in rural and underserved areas, where resources were often scarce. The program, named Evelyn's Outreach, was launched with great success. Mobile units travelled to remote communities, offering counselling, legal assistance, and educational workshops. The program not only extended the shelter's reach, but also fostered a sense of solidarity and empowerment among women who had previously felt isolated. The success of Evelyn's Outreach inspired other initiatives. A scholarship fund was established in Evelyn's name, providing financial assistance to survivors who wished to pursue higher education or vocational training. The fund opened doors for many women, allowing them to achieve their dreams and build better futures for themselves and their families. Throughout all these developments, Evelyn's memory remained a guiding light. Her portrait hung in the shelter's entrance, a reminder of her enduring presence and the profound impact she had on so many lives. Her story was told and retold, each iteration a tribute to her strength, her compassion, and her unwavering belief in the power of redemption. In the quiet moments when the hustle and bustle of daily operations settled, Lila would often find herself standing before Evelyn's portrait. She would reflect on the journey they had shared, the battles fought, and the victories won. It was in these moments that Lila felt closest to Evelyn, drawing strength from her legacy and finding inspiration to continue the work they had begun together. As the shelter celebrated its 20th anniversary, a grand event was organised to honour Evelyn's legacy and the countless lives she had touched. Survivors, supporters, and advocates from around the world gathered to pay tribute to the woman whose vision had sparked a movement. The event was a celebration of resilience, hope, and the transformative power of love and compassion. Speeches were given, stories were shared, and tears were shed. Each person in attendance had been impacted by Evelyn's work in some way, and their collective gratitude filled the room with an overwhelming sense of community and purpose. As the night drew to a close, Lila took the stage. She spoke of Evelyn's journey, her struggles, her triumphs, and her unyielding commitment to helping others. She reminded everyone that Evelyn's legacy was not just a story of the past, but a living, breathing testament to what could be achieved when compassion and determination were combined. Evelyn Moore taught us that even in the face of the greatest adversity, we have the power to transform our lives and the lives of those around us, Lila said, her voice filled with emotion. Her legacy lives on in each of us, and it is our responsibility to carry her torch forward, to continue the work she started, and to create a world where no one has to suffer in silence. The audience erupted in applause, a standing ovation that echoed the profound impact of Evelyn's life and work. As Lila looked out at the sea of faces, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. Evelyn's journey had been marked by tragedy and triumph, but ultimately, it was a story of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of love. The shelter, now a symbol of that legacy, would continue to stand as a beacon of hope for all who needed it. Evelyn Moore's life had been a complex tapestry of joy and sorrow, love and loss. But in the end, it was a testament to the indomitable spirit of a woman who had turned her pain into a force for good. Her story would continue to inspire, to heal, and to remind the world that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of light to guide us forward. The 21st year of the shelter marked a new chapter, filled with the promise of further growth and impact. As the organisation continued to evolve, new partnerships were formed, and innovative programmes were developed to address the ever-changing needs of the women they served. The shelter's influence extended globally, becoming a model for similar initiatives worldwide. One of the most significant advancements was the integration of technology into their services. Emily spearheaded the development of a digital platform that provided survivors with 24/7 access to counselling, legal advice, and educational resources. This platform, named Evelyn's Haven, became a lifeline for women who were unable to physically reach the shelter or preferred the anonymity of online support. Evelyn's Haven quickly gained traction, reaching thousands of women across the globe. The platform's success was a testament to the enduring relevance of Evelyn's vision and the innovative spirit of those who carried her legacy forward. The shelter's reach now extended into the digital realm, breaking down barriers and providing hope to those who needed it most. Amidst these advancements, Lila continued to honour Evelyn's memory through personal reflection and dedication to the cause. She often found solace in the quiet moments at the shelter, drawing strength from the community they had built together. Lila's leadership was characterised by compassion, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to empowering others. One day, a letter arrived at the shelter that would once again alter the course of their mission. It was from a woman named Sophie, who had been deeply inspired by Evelyn's story and the work of the shelter. Sophie was a philanthropist with a personal connection to the cause. Her own mother had been a survivor of domestic violence, and Sophie had grown up witnessing the impact of trauma and the power of healing. Sophie's letter proposed a significant donation to the shelter, with the intention of expanding their reach even further. She envisioned a new facility that would not only provide refuge for survivors, but also serve as a centre for education, research, and advocacy. Sophie's dream was to create a place where survivors could not only heal, but also thrive, gaining the skills and confidence needed to rebuild their lives. The proposed centre, aptly named Evelyn's Legacy, would include state-of-the-art facilities for therapy, vocational training, and community outreach. It would also house a research institute dedicated to studying the root causes of domestic violence and developing effective prevention strategies. The centre would be a beacon of hope and a testament to the enduring impact of Evelyn's work. The shelter's board of directors unanimously agreed to pursue Sophie's vision. The next year was spent planning, fundraising, and constructing the new facility. Lila and Emily worked closely with Sophie to ensure that every aspect of Evelyn's legacy reflected the core values of compassion, empowerment, and resilience that had defined the shelter from the beginning. As the grand opening of Evelyn's Legacy approached, anticipation and excitement filled the air. The event drew survivors, supporters, advocates, and dignitaries from around the world. It was a celebration of the progress made, the lives changed, and the bright future that lay ahead. On the day of the opening, Lila stood before the assembled crowd, her heart full of pride and gratitude. She spoke of Evelyn's journey, her unyielding spirit, and the profound impact she had made. Evelyn Moore showed us that one person's courage and compassion can spark a movement, transforming countless lives in the process, Lila said, her voice strong and clear. Today, we honour her legacy by opening a new chapter in our mission to support and empower survivors of domestic violence. Evelyn's Legacy is not just a building, it is a symbol of hope, a place where healing and transformation can truly begin. As the ribbon was cut and the doors to Evelyn's Legacy were opened, a sense of fulfillment washed over Lila. She knew that this was not the end, but a continuation of the journey they had embarked on together. Evelyn's vision had grown beyond what anyone could have imagined, and her legacy would continue to inspire and guide them for generations to come. Inside the new facility, survivors found a welcoming and supportive environment. The advanced therapy programs, educational workshops, and vocational training opportunities provided them with the tools they needed to rebuild their lives. The Research Institute attracted scholars and advocates dedicated to understanding and addressing the root causes of domestic violence. Evelyn's legacy became a hub of activity, collaboration, and hope. Women from all walks of life came through its doors, each with their own story of struggle and resilience. They found a community that embraced them, offering support and encouragement as they embarked on their journeys of healing and transformation. Lila and Emily continued to work tirelessly, their efforts bolstered by the unwavering support of Sophie and other generous benefactors. Together, they expanded the reach of Evelyn's legacy, establishing satellite centres in other cities and even countries. The network they built provided a safety net for survivors everywhere, ensuring that no one had to face their challenges alone. As the years went by, the impact of Evelyn's legacy grew exponentially. The stories of those who had found refuge and hope within its walls became a powerful testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. Each success story was a tribute to Evelyn's memory, a reminder of the transformative power of love and compassion. In the twilight of her career, Lila reflected on the journey she had undertaken. She thought of Evelyn, whose life had been marked by tragedy and triumph, and whose legacy had become a beacon of hope for so many. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that their efforts had made a difference in the lives of countless individuals. Lila's final years at the shelter were spent mentoring the next generation of leaders, ensuring that Evelyn's vision would continue to thrive. She passed on the wisdom and lessons she had learned, instilling in them the values of empathy, resilience, and unwavering dedication to the cause. When Lila eventually retired, she did so with the knowledge that Evelyn's legacy was in capable hands. The shelter continued to flourish, its mission carried forward by those who had been inspired by Evelyn's story. The impact of their work reverberated far and wide, creating a ripple effect of positive change. Evelyn Moore's life had been a journey of love, loss, and redemption, but her legacy was one of hope, resilience, and the transformative power of compassion. Her story, marked by tragedy and triumph, continued to inspire long after she was gone, a shining beacon of hope for all who faced the darkest moments of their lives. And so, the enigma of Evelyn Moore lived on, not just in the memories of those who knew her, but in the hearts of all who were touched by her enduring legacy.